You get, so you will
And
tell
it
us.
is 5:30.
Oh, is it 5:30 now?
Yes, sir.
Great. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Ron Tellis. I'm the CEO of WhidbeyHealth, and I welcome you tonight. We have with us a panel of our executive leadership team. And the purpose tonight is to really drive the strategic plan. The strategic plan is one that kind of focuses us on where we're going. It is important that you understand it as a community member. So why is it important? It is important for employees, important for providers, and for you to know where we're going, to know where we're taking our business. For us to succeed, we all have to be on the same page. It is a plan, a strategic plan that keeps us focused on the right priorities. We are asking our community, we're asking you to partner with us more fully. It is imperative that you do that. It's important for you to know where we're going, what we're doing, and to be able to communicate it effectively. We owe it to you to communicate effectively. The mission, vision, the idea of our values are going to be explained tonight. But along with that, these are three goals. One is service, one is people, and the last is sustainability. We're going to go over them briefly, but we want to allow enough time for your questions. It is the mission of, well, you can see it there. We are community owned. We are the community owned source of compassion, quality, integrity in healthcare for residents and visitors. Why do we use the word community? Why is that so important? We value our independence. If we were purchased by a large organization, one that has its roots in Renton or in Vancouver, we may not have the same priorities. Why is it visitors? Because we have visitors on our island, and we are providers of all of them. So that is our mission. Our vision is where we want to be. What do we want to be when we get older, grow up, so they say. Our vision is to be the primary, our provider of choice for primary and specialty healthcare. It is important that we are the provider of choice. It is important that our providers are aware of that. So with that, I will hand it off to Jake Kempton, our chief legal officer. Jake, take it away.
Okay, thanks, Ron. So I'm going to talk about our new organizational values. Organizational values, they describe the core ethics or principles by which our organization or any organization will abide by, no matter what. So in healthcare, there are many, many values that are integral to providing high quality care. And as a senior leadership team, as we discussed the various options, we landed on 5 that are truly core to what we do. And so we've arranged them in an acronym, I CARE, well, for one, to help us easily remember what they are, but also to help us stay focused on the intent. So if you'll notice, each value is followed by a we statement, defining how we as individuals and as a organization, as a hospital district, are going to uphold those values. So starting off, our values start with integrity. We are honest with our patients, their families, and each other in all that we say and do. You know, there are dozens of great quotes out there on integrity, but one of my favorites by John Maxwell says, "Image is what people think we are. integrity is what we really are. So our values start with integrity, because without integrity, the others, they don't work. The next value is compassion. We are empathetic with our patients, their families, and each other. We practice patient-centered care as the cornerstone of our compassion. So two things jump out with these statements. One is empathy. Empathy is the heartbeat of compassion. Without empathy, healthcare is nothing more than a sterile science. But with empathy, healthcare becomes a truly transformative experience for all involved. Now, the other key point here is the patient-centered care. The patient is why we come to work every day. So the patient is really should be at the center of our decision making. Our next value is accountability. We are accountable to each other and to the community and patients we serve. We are responsible in our use of resources to sustain and grow Whidbey Health for our community. So accountability is really important. And when we say we're accountable to each other, we mean it. And we gave this presentation to our staff earlier today, and I'll repeat it again. Any person in or out of this organization, any person listening to this presentation, or any community member should feel at liberty to hold us as a leadership team, as employees, as a hospital district, accountable to these values. The next value is respect. We honor and value the diversity, dignity, and choices of all persons. So while we as fellow employees and healthcare providers, we come from many different places and backgrounds, we may espouse differing worldviews or perspectives, our goal is the same, and that is to provide the best care possible for every patient that walks through our doors. Our differences don't make us weaker, they make us stronger. They provide more depth in our perspective and our approach to patient care. But they only make us stronger, they only give us more depth if we actually practice respect. So that's why respect is one of our values. And finally, and last but not least, is excellence. We follow the highest standard of quality and safety in providing care to our patients and their families. We hold ourselves to the highest standards of quality and safety, be that in the ER, the OR, or HR. So not all of us who work at the hospital or one of the clinics are in patient-facing roles, but all of us touch patients through the individual work that we do. All of us, every member of this organization has an impact on the quality of care that our patients receive. So that's a brief run through of our values. As Ron mentioned, we have 3 overarching goals to our strategic plan, and they're broken down into greater detail, but service, people, and sustainability. So I'm going to pass the baton to John to talk about our first goal, service.
Thank you, Jake. So talking about our first goal, service, we consistently deliver the safest and highest quality of care to every Whidbey Health patient. That is our chief goal. In order to reach this goal, we have several objectives, and I want to talk a little bit about the first one. Our first objective is in regards to our achieving nationally recognized benchmarks for clinical quality and safety performance. And this year, we achieved DNV hospital accreditation. And so in 2021, this is our inaugural year. This was a deliberate choice as this accreditation emphasizes quality of care and patient safety as key aspects of sustaining this accreditation. This accreditation also requires us to use quality of care performance measures to drive continual improvement in our care and our service delivery. We will obtain ISO 9000 certification within the next 4 years. That is our commitment. The certification is awarded to organizations that evidence strict adherence to quality management standards. ISO 9001 certified organizations do what they say what they do, prove it, and improve it. We're going to be focusing a lot of education and training in 2022 around the concepts of ISO 9001 and have already begun a lot of initiatives to get us down that road. To talk about objective number 2, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Garth Miller.
Good evening. Point Number 2 is optimize processes and workflows to continuously improve operating efficiencies. Really, what we'd like to do is emulate the high-performing industries around the country, such as the airline industry, which has figured out how to standardize their processes and workflows to create the most safe and efficient form of transportation on Earth. So we would like to do something similar with healthcare, and it starts at the bottom with policies and procedures that reflect the quality of care that we want to provide. And so we're working diligently to revise, edit, improve, and create new policies and procedures, which are the basis for the healthcare that we deliver. Things that come out of this kind of work include standardized order sets, standardized practice guidelines, protocols for enhanced recovery after surgery. These are all things that make hospitals and procedures safer and of higher quality and lower cost. Other things that we are doing is we're carefully tracking our outcomes, both clinical outcomes using technological platforms like our event reporting system, and providing feedback to the organization when there are opportunities to improve. Similarly, we are tracking our patient experience and providing feedback to the providers and staff members to improve our patient experiences. And then technology is a huge piece of what we need to do to improve our care delivery system. We have aging electronic infrastructure and multiple electronic health records that don't always communicate well with each other and are not always very well designed to communicate well with our patients and provide the level of care that we wish to provide today. So we are hoping to move to a single electronic health record in the near future, which will allow us to much better communicate with each other and with our patients and improve the care delivery process. There are other technological improvements that we are planning to implement in the near future. One which we already have implemented is a product called Cara, which is an artificial intelligence enhanced dictation process that allows our providers to dictate very quickly and efficiently and document their interactions with the patients. Another product that we hope to roll out in the near future is called Freezia, which allows patients to check in for their appointments in the comfort of their own home using a smartphone, or in the clinic using an iPad, and provide all the information necessary so that they can basically come right into the patient's room, having been pre-registered in advance. Basically, this allows us to do more with less. But all of these things come at a cost. And so the development of these programs, the rollout of these programs will be determined by the amount of resources that we have available to us. I will now turn it over to Erin Woolley, our Chief Nursing Officer, for objective number 3.
Thank you, Dr. Miller. So how do we continuously improve at Whidbey Health? Well, we continuously learn. So our third objective in our service goal focuses on creating, encouraging, and investing in a workforce that embraces lifelong learning, and then uses this learning to improve what it is that we do each and every day. So the more that we know, the better prepared that we are to work effectively in this ever-changing healthcare market. And so some of the things in my mind that we've already started to do with regard to our continuous improvement goal and objective here are things like resuscitation quality improvement, which is a system that allows all of our healthcare providers to train every month in how to deliver evidence-based and very effective resuscitation efforts to patients when they need that kind of care. We have an education department that is working tirelessly every day to bring new education that is that is built on science and is evidence-based to the forefront of our organization. And so we continue to do that so that we can continuously improve. Because consistently delivering the highest quality and the safest care to our Whidbey community, that remains our goal for service. I do want to turn things over to Debbie DeCourty to talk about our second goal, which centers around people. And Debbie is a perfect person to speak about these, since Debbie DeCourty is our Chief Human Resource Officer.
Thank you, Erin. And good evening, everybody. Thank you for sharing part of your night with us. I would like to talk about people, as the slide shows here for goal number 2. The second goal in our strategic plan is people. And the question is why? Well, obviously people are the most important, both employees and patients. And so even more important than the what. But the what is to provide an environment where patients, employees, and providers are valued partners in the healthcare delivery. And we have 5 objectives in order to achieve this goal. The first objective is to attract and retain the highest level talent across the entire organization. And we want to excel in the areas of recruitment and retention. We want to pay market competitive pay, if not even above market. But this is a scalable goal based on our economic climate. We are proud of the benefits which we review and approve annually. So for example, this year with the retail pharmacy coming on board, employees are provided discount copays if they're on the PPO plan, and also the ability to obtain 90-day prescriptions as of October 1st. Retention is supported by the internal movements and promotions, which we really strive to have here at Whidbey Health. And we have on-the-job training programs and success stories, training from a patient access staff member who became a retail pharmacy assistant. We have phlebotomists who have trained at Whidbey Health. And even our sleep specialty department is designing an on-the-job training program so that we can deliver the best care to everybody in our community, whether living here or visiting. And we're also developing an MA program, and the family birthplace precepted and trained a new specialty nurse. And so training and education like these examples will continue and multiply. And they're just one aspect of retention. I'm kind of passionate about the subject. I could go on and on, but instead, I'm going to pass to John for objective number 2.
So, you know, if you imagine a target with a bullseye and concentric circles, delivering the safest and highest quality of care to every patient is that bullseye. And everything that we do is intended to support that objective. But a lot of, more increasingly, healthcare organizations are recognizing that the patient experience is also an extremely important piece, if not in that bullseye as well. We can offer the greatest care, the most innovative practices, provide the best evidence-based treatment to our community, to our patients. But if that's not perceived to be caring and compassionate, if patients do not see themselves as being respected and treated as individuals instead of a number, next in line, next person in queue, we've really failed in our mission. So getting patients feedback, getting their experience, valuing that feedback so that we can change and improve is a big investment that we have made and we will continue to make, because it's crucial for the success of the delivery of care that we offer to everyone. We get this feedback from patient surveys. We have increased our footprint on how we deliver those surveys so that we have more electronic options, more telephonic options. The amount of time that we spend looking at those results and looking for ways that we can hone ourselves, focus on areas that could be much better. That again is time worth the investment, and the dividends are all we're already seeing in the feedback we're getting from our patient surveys. We have started a myriad of patient experience initiatives for improvement that include training our staff, providing tools and other technological opportunities that we can avail ourselves to improve the patient experience as much as we possibly can. It's an investment, again, that we've made quite a bit in, and we will continue to make as much as we possibly can. And with that, I will actually go into objective number 3, and I believe I'll talk a little bit about the first part of our objective number 3, which is empowering patient engagement in their healthcare. This focuses a little bit in keeping with objective number 2, but where we are looking at objective number 3 is really how do we make patients, give the patients the opportunity to be better partners in their healthcare, to have more say in their healthcare, being able to use our technology to actively partner with our patients and equip them to proactively manage their care. This includes educational resources, better access to personal health data, making our patient portals more accessible. So there's quite a lot there that investment-wise that we are looking to make to further this objective. And Debbie, I'll turn it over to you.
Actually, I believe Brett is going to pick up now and talk about the IT aspect of this. So Brett Mello, our Chief Information Officer.
One of the exciting things that's coming down the pike for the next generation of care delivery is the ability to engage our patients at a more deeper level using technology. And we have that, we're at the cusp of doing that across the healthcare industry, to be able to equip our patients and partner with them to deliver care proactively, so that before they become acute in their illness, that they can better manage the care that they're delivering for themselves and partnering with us to do so, and using tools like the patient portal to get educational material or to share their health data information, or even using a Fitbit to upload that information so that a provider can review that as well. Holds a lot of promise for how we can take our relationship with patients to a higher level, and the wellness, the plan for wellness to a more proactive level as well.
Thank you, Brett. And the fourth objective is to create a high performance culture where employees thrive and the community trust is increased. A high performance culture is one where employees are highly engaged and empowered to succeed. And that obviously turns around and feeds a positive patient experience. Engagement is evidenced in fulfilled and valued employees, and it's measured through surveys. An achievement milestone would be an employee engagement mean of 4.0 or greater, which we're achieving, and we'll actually be taking a survey here in the coming months. And excuse me, a wellness program is another key feature in engaged environments, and certainly here at WhidbeyHealth. The culture is key, and it's why and how we ensure the longevity of our just culture. And that is what John is going to speak to now. So back to you.
So when we talk about a just culture, we're talking about creating a culture that's consistent and fair. It's the hallmark of most all high-performing organizations in and out of healthcare. This is the stage on which we deliver the highest quality of care. When we have a team that feels empowered to speak up, to say something when they have a concern, and to have confidence that that concern is going to be explored in a very fair, non-judgmental way in the interest of being better, being safer, increasing our quality of care delivery, we get good results. As an example, this year was our inaugural year for our event reporting system. If something doesn't go quite right, we asked our staff, our providers, to enter an event that we can review, and it gives us an opportunity to investigate and to improve. The event reporting system that we upgraded to has been very, very successful. We've gotten a lot of great feedback that's allowed us to go into great teaching moments with staff. When we look at these moments, we're always looking first at how can we improve the system and how can we improve processes to support our staff. Always looking at that before trying to blame or assign fault. We want to see what were the breakdown in the systems that we can address and be more effective that way. We do an exercise called root cause analysis when we have an event that's significantly deviated off of what we expect to occur. And we do debriefs, situational debriefs, and these are rapid turnaround discussions with staff involved in particular events so that we can learn from these. This kind of open feedback, this kind of safety-minded, preoccupation with safety-minded approach to these types of issues is only possible when we foster this culture. We've taken a lot of important steps this last year and a half to really acculturate folks in our organization to just culture, and the work will of course continue, and this is going to be a hallmark of who we are moving forward. Looking to objective number 5, I'll turn that back over to Dr. Miller.
So objective number 5 is enable providers to create and nurture strong relationships with their patients. We know that the provider-patient relationship is critical to achieving good outcomes. And we know that in order to maintain those relationships, we need to give the providers the tools they need to be really very good at their jobs and secure these relationships. There are things that we can do to help them develop and build these relationships. That includes a mentoring program for new providers, which we have recently initiated. And the other is giving providers feedback on how they are doing with their patients using our patient experience platform called Survey Vitals. We get almost real-time feedback from our patients on how they felt the encounter went with their provider, and we can then feed that back to the providers with tools, tips, and tricks and advice on how they can do a better job interacting with their patients. And now I will turn this over to Tim Waldner, our Executive Director for Facilities Management, to begin the discussion on goal number 3, sustainability.
Yes, good evening and thank you, Dr. Miller. Goal number 3, sustainability. Drive financial stewardship, strategic growth, and innovation. We want to be here not only today, but forever into the future to continue to provide excellent healthcare for the community, for the people of Whidbey Island. In order to do that, we need to have good stewardship, which is a careful management of our finances so that we can tend to maintain and keep our facility here and be financially responsible. Sustainability is the capacity to endure, and that is the goal, and that is the reason why we have this goal. We have 4 objectives, and I will hand this off to Jennifer Reed, our Director of Financial Services, to go over our first objectives.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks everybody for coming tonight and showing up. Yes, sustainability is a big goal for us. And the first objective is to develop financially astute leadership. The finance department can't do it all by ourselves, so we need a whole bunch of experts helping us drive this ship. Healthcare finances are complicated, and critical access finance is complicated on top of being pretty counterintuitive. So this objective will lead our management to have the highest understanding of the finances of our organization, to know where we are right now, how the finances work, how their decisions affect our finances, and how to make those decisions with at least a little eye on the bottom line. Objective number 2 is to optimize our service lines and strategic partnerships to support community needs and drive growth. You'll see down that we hope to join in a community needs assessment, and that's where we'll really get to identify what's needed by the community, and we'll implement new tools as we can and optimize the tools that we already have developed to identify and optimize our service lines and those things that we know the community needs, recognizing that we don't have to do it all ourselves. We can use these partnerships to accomplish this objective. Objective number 3 is to manage our resources to ensure long-term financial health and agility. This is a pretty basic one. Every organization needs to manage their resources, but it also includes having the information available to leadership in order for them to manage their own resources, along with the education we already talked about. I think this will lend itself well to this objective. The next objective is to leverage technology and facility solutions to advance our clinical care and business operations. And who best to talk about that is, again, Tim, our facilities director.
Thank you. So as far as facilities go, we have already completed a facility master plan so that we can identify where we are today and where we need to be in the future to continue to support the community and to see and ensure some type of growth, strategic growth, because growth just to grow is not good, but strategic growth is growth that is planned and based off feasibility studies and need assessments of the community so that we can continue to provide the services that are most important to the community's health. So we are doing everything we can to start this first part of the facility master plan. We hopefully next October, we will be starting phase 1, which will improve some areas of the facility and help improve patient care and help improve some of our revenue streams. These things are very important. They go hand in hand to help support the long-term survivability of Whidbey Health. We are taking advantage of grants to achieve improvements to our infrastructure as far as boilers and chillers. These projects are very expensive. Just the boiler and chiller project alone was roughly a little over $3 million. So these projects and the infrastructure of the facility is very expensive, but they're things that need to be done to continue to provide good health, good, exceptional patient care to our community. We have some other things that we are working on updating, which is our MRI and our CT area of our imaging department. We have very old equipment in there, and it's going to cost, quite a bit of money to get those up to date, but we are doing everything we can to work through USDA loans, grant dollars, and other avenues to try and get these things done so that we can continue to support the community and continue to take care of our patients. I will hand this off to Brett Mello, and he can talk about some of the innovation ideas that we are working on.
So the leveraging technology portion of that statement really focuses, our thought is it really focuses on utilizing the things like data analytics tools to help us improve our decision-making and our planning by mining all of this data that actually resides in our systems and turning that into practical, actionable tasks. And so there's a lot that we can do. In fact, healthcare as an industry is really rolling into all of this work that we've done over the years. We've amassed a ton of information, and now as an industry, we are working towards turning that information into wisdom, into knowledge to better manage our care and services that we deliver to the community. With that, I will wrap it up and turn it over to Ron.
Wow, thank you very much. You've heard our mission, you've heard our vision, you've heard our values, you've heard our goals. Basically, you've heard our strategic plan. That being said, it's important that you understand this. It's important for our employees, important for our providers, but it's more important for you, our community. So you know where we're going. You know our true north. You know where we are all on the same page. It is with that strategic plan that helps ensure alignment. Now, this is all great stuff, and you heard a lot of wonderful things. These are scalable. It really has to be scalable. It doesn't matter how much money we are able to afford. It is going to be our true north. So with that, anything else? No. With that, we and offer our time and answer your questions, if you have any.
So, yeah, in regards to questions, if you have questions, you can, if you please use the raise hand function on Zoom so that we can see your question and unmute you. And after you made your question, given your question, we will probably mute you so that we don't have background noise, feedback, or whatnot. And I just want to piggyback onto what Ron said too about, our team has gone through a lot of the described a lot of the fantastic work that we're going to be doing over the next couple of years. It is absolutely our intention to go forward in doing that work. Our ability to complete that work, timeline wise, and how quickly we can do it will be dependent on budgetary constraints. But that is where we are. That is where we're going. So, are there any questions about this presentation or about anything? Anybody has any questions about anything, please feel free to raise your hand.
Our board members are out there, people.
Corner them in the grocery store and ask them questions.
Well, if there isn't, we'll give this a little time. We really want to thank you for allowing us to offer our strategic plan. Really is a great work by this team. It was approved by our board, but it was a lot of work. And really, Brett Mello really facilitated this. So thank you, Brett.
So if anybody wanted to ask what we were doing with our budgeted dollars over the next 3 to 5 years.
You mean it's not good? Yes.
This is Aaron. I don't know if those that are listening would be interested to know kind of what our next steps are now that we've developed the strategic plan and we've shared it with our staff, our providers, our board, and our community. What are we going to do with it now? Maybe we should share a little bit about that.
Yeah, you know what? We are going to develop. Oh man, there's a question down there. So we're going to go into departmental goals, which will be aligned to the strategic goals. Each department in our organization is going to have a develop their own goals that will align. But anything else? I see a question.
Yes, there is a question from a community member. Can you explain more about how the levy dollars might be spent? So I think that hits a number of our different goals. Brett, do you want to talk a little bit about some of the initiatives that you had spoken about earlier?
Sure. So one of the things that we've shared with the community in preparation for this upcoming levy is using some of these funds to invest into technology. So what we mean by that, and Dr. Miller alluded to just some of those, but for example, the opportunity to upgrade our electronic medical record, the platform which we use to deliver our care and manage patient information. We've got 2 of those right now, one for the hospital and one for the clinic. And the opportunity, as Dr. Miller pointed out, is to standardize on one, then simplify the flow of information across our health system. And also upgrade to be able to take advantage of some newer technology that will give us greater insights from an analytics standpoint that will help us more effectively manage changing people's health condition while they're in the hospital a whole variety of things. And we are a Meditech shop, so we are considering taking this next step with Meditech to a product called Expanse. So you might hear us talk about that. If we do that, that is a pretty significant investment and one that would certainly be facilitated by funding from the levy. Doesn't mean we're not going to do it if we don't get the levy, but things can go faster in being able to deliver more of this kinds of innovation through the use of technology into the future.
Brett, just EMR conversions and upgrades, those are fairly inexpensive, right?
No, unfortunately, they're the workhorses of health systems digital footprint. So they're very significant. They touch every part of our business. They touch clinical side, they touch business side, human resources side. It is the foundation with which we deliver all of our services. So to do that, because of its complexity, because of its size, these are fairly material investments in order to make changes and shifts and additions to that kind of technology. So it's probably one of the biggest technology investments that this organization will make in the next 3 to 5 years.
Thanks, Brett. Debbie, do you want to talk a bit about how the levy might impact your goals?
Yes, I'd be happy to. So there is an opportunity, if the levy should pass, that a portion of that budget could go towards really making our salaries and wages not only market competitive, but above market. We really do need to catch wages up to date to truly be competitive and to have a rewarding compensation program. And like all our goals, it's scalable, but I sure would love to do a lot with it. And I think Tim would also like to spend some money on facilities, so I'll pass to him next.
Yes, as I brought up previously, we have a number of pieces of equipment in the facility that are aging. And these pieces of equipment are very important to the environment, for the patients and for the staff. A lot of them are code driven. We have to have, we have to maintain certain temperatures, certain humidities. We are required in our ORs to have certain amounts of air exchanges per hour. This equipment has been, sadly to say, neglected over the years, and a lot of it is, it's being maintained, but it is past end of life, and it is becoming more and more expensive to operate. And so we have a number of things identified, and we have prioritized them, but things that we need to continue to update. And in the end, they will provide better patient care, and they will help actually, save money on our energy that we're using. So.
Okay, looks like there's a question. Wasn't there a levy increase in 2016? Jennifer, do you want to talk to that? What that might be related to?
I can talk to that, and I think it's probably referring to the EMS levy. The EMS has a 6-year levy that they renew every 6 years. That is really takes care of our EMS services. Between our services here at the hospital and subsidizing or also contributing and contracting with the fire stations on the island and our ICOM services. So that levy money goes to our ambulance services.
And then there was I think prior to 2016, there was a 2013, I think it was, the bond.
The bond was passed for the addition of the new wing. And that was specifically only to build that new wing. And that's exactly what we spent the money on, and actually exactly the budget we had for that. So that's what that was. We haven't had a levy lift for ever. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, are there other questions?
If, if anyone wants to see our strategic plan, I believe it's on our website or will be shortly. You are more than like to go through it. It's a little more detail than we gave tonight, but it's a really, I'm proud of it. So we're all very proud of it. Well,
It's kind of like standing in front of a silent room, except for I can't see anybody.
Well, there was a question on cybersecurity and the cost for that as well. And that is another investment that every healthcare organization has to make. For those of you who may not be aware, the healthcare industry, healthcare providers have now become the #1 target for bad actors across the globe. We've now exceeded even the financial industry as being the highest of risk, because the bad guys have figured out the profitability of patient information. So there's a lot more that we have to do to ensure that we keep data safe, that we keep our information protected. And we've done a pretty darn good job with that up to this point. But the game is always changing. They talk about the future of modern warfare is going to be digital, not on a battlefield. And unfortunately, that's what we're starting to see across the world right now. So we've got a good role on this. We've got a long ways to go. Every healthcare organization does. We're all in the same boat together, but we do need to make those investments to ensure the safety and privacy of our information.
Are there any comments from community members or persons watching about perhaps what you'd like to see? Or if you have suggestions for us as a hospital or anything, and perhaps maybe this isn't the best form, or maybe you don't want, you would rather not bring that up in this form. So I'll pigeonhole that or pivot that to say, if you have additional questions or comments or anything, you can certainly email those to our marketing manager, Connor O'Brien, and he will get those questions to the right people, and we will get a response back to you.
Jake, there is a clarifying question to my previous comment about what does it mean that patient information is a profitable target for the bad guys? And really, simply put, it's that they can use that over and over again for fraud. They can make money out there in the black market with it. They can scam insurance companies, get fake payments made. They can use it in a variety of ways. This has become a multi-billion-dollar year black industry for what they call the black market of this information. And again, they figured out it's more profitable to take money or take information and get money from it over and over again than to, for example, redirect money from a bank and you only get that money once. So that's how the world is changing, unfortunately.
Well, also with the increased use of ransomware, bad actors have discovered that some hospitals will pay a lot of money to get their data back. And unfortunately, that puts hospitals in a very, very difficult position, very difficult conundrum.
But just to keep people's minds at ease about not to spread too much fear on what's going on in the world. It's good to have a healthy dose of it, but just to be aware that we have partnered with external organizations, one of which is looking at our network from multiple angles, 24/7, 365. These are former FBI, NSA staff that have an organization that does this professionally to help offset our limited IT staff here, always looking for any impending threats and being able to respond to it very quickly. And that's just one of the investments that we've made to shore things up. So I feel pretty good about our security posture. There's always a risk somewhere, but we need to continue the fight.
Another question: how does a growing population on Whidbey, both Navy and civilian, affect your costs going forward, and increased patient population impact your strategic plan?
Didn't quite hear that.
Yeah.
All right, is that better?
Yeah.
How does a growing population on Whidbey, both Navy and civilian, affect your costs going forward? An increased patient population impact your strategic plan?
Well, it doesn't really. So the strategic plan is our true north. We're going to do it anyways. It's just a matter of scalability. It's going to be, if we're not too much budget, we won't go so fast. If it's a great resource, we will go faster. The idea is the patient population is going to be affected. You heard from Brett, the EMR. EMR is going to be take its place regardless. If you heard from Tim, you heard that you're going to get the infrastructure ready. If you heard from services and that, we will take its place. It doesn't really matter.
And I think there's the first part of that question is, how does a growing population affect our costs, our operational costs?
And I would
Yeah,
kind
I
of
can-
defer
I
to
can-
some of our clinical folks, but increased demand requires increases resources, right?
Got that one.
Right. There are some unique features to the Navy population that do affect our costs. And I'm thinking about the women's care that we provide, the obstetrics services that we have taken on because the Navy hospital has closed. Those patients actually cost us money. The reimbursement that we get from the Navy does not really cover the cost of those services. But we are continuing to keep that service line open and in fact invest in it because we know it is a critical need for our island community. So that is a real cost and it is going up. And that's another reason why any additional sources of funding that we get are so critical. On the plus side, the growing population on the island gives us an opportunity to bring more patients into our healthcare system. And we are doing everything we can to expand access, expand our provider base and our staff to meet the needs of that ever increasing population.
Jennifer, do you have an idea how much our deliveries increased over the past couple of years?
Oh, let's see. Yeah, put me on the spot with my calculator. Maybe 25% over the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
240, also 300, yeah.
Good questions. All right, are there any other questions out?
Well, since the San Francisco Giants are playing the last game of the playoffs, I hope not. I'd like to get home and see what the games look like. Giants versus Dodgers. Come on. It's the rivalry of the century.
That's baseball, right?
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, just kidding.
All right. I thank you. We thank you for your time and good night. Oh, wait.
One more question.
Okay.
Would it help our stranded system for Navy to reopen ER and labor services? That is a good question. Aaron, do you have a thought or?
I don't know if I can directly answer that question about whether that would help or not. I think the military Department of Defense has been moving healthcare into the civilian sector across the nation for several years. So I don't know if they have the resources at this point to stand up additional healthcare resources here at Naval Air Station Whidbey or across the nation. But what I can say is that we remain in very close contact. We're very good partners with Naval Air Station Whidbey. And we are always looking for ways to help care for our military community. And we will continue to do that. This executive team and this organization certainly prides itself on helping to take care of those that are serving our country. So we will continue to have discussions with Navy and continue to partner where we can. And if we can help them augment the services that they are able to provide, we'll certainly do that. And if we can provide those services on their behalf, we will do that as well. So we'll just keep working at it together, but we are happy to have them here and happy to support our military families.
Thanks, Aaron. Okay, going once, going twice.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you, everyone.